So no intro today, guys. I hope you're not too disappointed with that. It was a struggle getting this stream to actually stream correctly. First, we had a microphone technical difficulty where I wasn't getting any audio output and probably no input either, but I couldn't tell. And then, for whatever reason, there was no data being sent from my OBS through the, encoder to the streaming thingy, so that it was telling me that I had no data. So I literally could not press the preview start stream button. But despite all of that, we're here. And we are ready to have a lovely discussion about the experts and what they have to say about the Mueller report. This isn't tea, this is coffee. I am of a higher caliber drink enjoyer, connoisseur person. Let's give it a few minutes to let people kind of meander in. I have a few things that I would like to say on the subject of information and what have you not things before we actually get into... Oh, thank God the health is good. Sorry, you can't see it, but I can see it, and it says that the stream status of the health is good, which means you guys are not experiencing buffering, which is a good thing. Apparently Chaos Eve is disappointed with me. I don't know what to say. I apologize. I can't snap my fingers and work wonders and magic on the internet and through my encoder and all of the jazz. I can't do that. I wish I could, but that is not my superpower. My superpower is being, gloriously haired and, having a fantastic smile. That is my superpower. Let me just decord myself, because it seems like I'm having technical difficulties that are more hardware related as well. Tyro and Cookate, hello. How are you this fine afternoon? So we started a bit later than I usually like to, but like I said, we had some technical difficulties. They're all fixed now, hopefully. My encoder is working. There are 19 of you here as far as I can see, so that's all fine and dandy. We are going to be discussing, enjoying what the experts have to say on the Mueller report as of right now. But before we get into all of that jazz, I have a quick little speech that I would like to get into. It's I think it's a rather important one. It's a notion that I wish to get across to my audience, as well as anyone who might find themselves walking in on this discussion and, maybe thinking a thing. That's exactly what it was. So, I'm just gonna, right quick, shill the link out to the YouTube sphere. Finally, we're live! And by YouTube sphere, I mean Twitter. Because I do want people to see this. I want people to experience my wisdom, because I think that for a 21-year-old, it's actually quite profound. So, the Mueller report's been released. I woke up this morning at 9-ish to the lovely whims of Twitter going on and on and on about Mueller. Is it Mueller or is it Mueller? I can never actually tell. The lovely whims of Robert Mueller in his 450-page document about collusion and, what's the word I'm looking for here? Has something to obstruction, and all that jazz. But they hadn't been released to the public yet. What had happened was, there was what's the word? A press conference. I think his name is William Barr, and he had some things to say before the release of the Mueller report this afternoon, which, by the way, it has been released, and it will be linked in the description after the stream has ended. I don't want to give any spoilers right now, because we are going to go through, not the Mueller report. I haven't had time to do that. No one's had time to actually go through it, comb through it, look through it, and actually look at it with a critical eye. No, that's not what's happened here. What has happened, however, has been what I want to talk about. Everyone and their mother has an opinion on the release of the report itself, as of right now. And that is 4/16, April 18th, the year of our Lord 2019. I believe the report was released 11 p.m. this afternoon, and as soon as about maybe half an hour, 2 hours out from the release of that report to the general public, you had people with their nuclear hot takes. Their introspectives, extrospectives, their perspective. There we go. Perspective on the matter. You had people who were taking it at face value. You had people who were quoting it and tweeting about it. Obviously, we're going to go into looking at a few of those things, but the one thing that I really want to get across is this is kind of like a philosophical point of contention that I have. And that is, there are going to be people that attempt to manipulate you, in the news. You're going to see a whole bunch of tweets, you're going to see a whole bunch of perspectives, you're going to see takes from people that you might agree with, people that you might not agree with, people that you just think are absolute silly heads. Obviously, that's what you're going to have happen. Now, you can either take those at full face value, for everything that they're worth, and you believe everyone that you hear, or you can go directly to the primary source and read for yourself exactly what it is that people are telling you to form an opinion about, because that's exactly what they're doing. Anyone that ever opens their mouth to you, or writes something on Twitter, or expresses themselves in some maybe nonverbal way even, is an attempt to manipulate your perspective. And now, I get, there's a little bit of a hold right there when I use the word manipulate, because manipulate has a negative connotation, does it not? Manipulate is usually something that's associated with negativity. It's like, when people say, people are getting manipulated, maybe they think of children and being groomed, or maybe they think of, high school students and them being indoctrinated, or maybe they think of cults, and that's that manipulation. But manipulation itself is not inherently a bad thing. It's not evil. It is a neutral term. Manipulation is unavoidable, in fact. As you go through your day-to-day life, you are manipulated by the temperature outside, to give you an example. If it's raining, you're going to wear something water resistant. That is the weather manipulating you. Now, of course, I'm making this very broad, but essentially what it boils down to is you have the power to choose what you are manipulated by, how you are manipulated, how it affects you as an individual. So I think that it is exceedingly, and I cannot stress this enough, exceedingly important for individuals, people, men, women, children, anyone, to look at things with their own two eyes, maybe listen to things with their own two ears before they actually spout anything. And I'm not talking about secondary sources, or in some case tertiary sources, with regards to news outlets or Twitter threads or what have you. I implore you, I beg of you, to look into things yourself. This is why in every video that I ever really do, it's always got the sources that I used linked, because I'm confident enough in my research, but I want you to be confident enough in my research, and maybe even, challenge me in the comments. That's why I don't limit comments. I even if it's spamming, I let them go, because to be quite honest, and I'm not talking about chat comments, because chat comments are different from, the actual comments section of videos, but I let people speak their piece, speak their mind, because I am open to being challenged, because I do know that I get it wrong, because I'm not perfect. It is entirely and Eve knows that it's raining. Well, it's actually raining here too. I'm actually soaking freaking wet, but don't distract me, Eve. How dare you? The point I'm trying to make here is that people are going to try to manipulate you, and we are going to go through stories and stories and stories. We're not going to actually read the Mueller report. Mueller, whatever. We're not going to read it yet, because I haven't had time to go through it. I haven't had time to actually skim it. There's been no time. I was in class when it was released, I'm pretty sure. If it was released at like 11... Yeah, no. I was in rehearsal, and then I went to class, and then I came back, and then I started, deciding what it was that I wanted to do for this show, because initially I wanted to do the Grease stream. I wanted to do part 2 of the Greece stream where I talked about my trip to Greece. That was it. But then I had a thought, and that was, people have already made up their minds about what it is. So they're going to purport a narrative based off of maybe skimming the entire 450-page document and picking up little juicy bits that support their narrative. So, we're gonna look into all of that. Ignore what I just said about not being manipulated. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna look into that, and we're gonna see what it is that people have a perspective on, that they are trying to give you, a narrative that they're trying to prop up based off of whatever evidence it is that they can concoct. And then I'm going to give you homework, essentially. I'm going to ask you to read the report for yourself and make up your own goddamn mind. Because that is the most important thing. That you make up your own mind. Now, I don't mean to sound condescending to my audience, because that's never the case, no. But this is important. This is something that I think is exceedingly important, especially in today's culture, especially with fake news, especially with, information at the tips of your fingers. I go on Facebook every single day, and I look at posts from people that I went to high school with, and people that I went to middle school with even, and my teachers too that I, took lessons from in high school, and some of their nuclear takes that they're posting, the little text posts where they have like little 10-word manipulative sentences that are trying to get you to rise to, be like, that's an injustice, how dare this person do such and such. I look at those things and I'm like, okay, hang on. Do a little quick Google search, and I find out that, 1, maybe it's not even the full story. 2, half the time, it's complete bullshit. 3, the narrative that they're trying to purport, whatever it is that they're trying to say, is kind of ridiculous. I get this all the time. Oh god, I don't even want to get into that guy. There's a guy on my Facebook that I go on there specifically just to, you could say troll, but I wouldn't consider fact-checking trolling, essentially. Because what I do is I see the text posts and I look at them and I'm like, Googling now. And the very first article I read through and I'm like, yeah, you're not 100% correct on this. Let me highlight this portion where you got it wrong, screenshot it, copy the link, send you both of these things and be like, bruh. If you make it your personal mission in life to inform the masses of your Facebook friends, essentially what it is that's going on in the world, kind of open their eyes, make sure you're getting it goddamn right, because he said point blank to me, it is my personal duty to get people to think about the reality that they live in. Okay, then provide them with reality. Because as of right now, he's had to delete at least 3 within the last 2 weeks, and that's with me being lazy with my fact-checking. Alright, so that's just a prime example of something that I mean. I could go on and on and on about this, about how CNN and Fox News all have their narratives that they're trying to purport, and how, you gotta take everything that they say with a grain of salt, MSNBC, all of this jazz, the Daily Wire, all of the things, Breitbart, all of the people, and you gotta think about where they're getting their information from, what they're not telling you. Always, I cannot stress this enough. When someone is telling you something, think, okay, but what is it you're not telling me? And think about that, and maybe go out and look for that information that they're not telling you. It's a paranoid way to live, but you know what? It makes you a better critical thinker. I think, at least. That's just me. Now, I will be taking call-ins. We'll be taking on guests. We will be inviting people on. You see a little Discord logo in the corner of this video and this stream, and, I will be allowing people to come on with me and discuss the issues with me. We will be reading through a few articles. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them because we started late, but that's fine. And I also had a whole rant prepared that I wanted to get into. But that's fine. If you want onto the Discord, or if you want onto the call-in part of this show, you definitely check out the Discord and get yourself, situated in that respect, and then hop into the waiting room and I'll yank you into this stream. We'll have a good time. It'll be productive. But as for the chat, Robin Hood, if I'm not talking much, I'm writing a paper for class. No, don't worry about it, Robin. You're fine. You Gucci gang. it's all good. Slipping steadily into madness. From what I can gather from the press conference is that Russia did try to interfere in our election, but I was happy to hear that no American conspired to help their efforts on either side. Yes, that's what I also gathered. I thought about going into the whole press conference, but then I'm like, that's a half an hour, and we're not gonna get through it, because if you know anything about these streams, Weebo has a tendency to go shiny object and go on a soft tangent, maybe a hard tangent. It really depends on the mood that I'm in. So yeah. Assassins of the Great. Why would you do that? That is like productive or something. Yes, it is productive. You know, in an age where it took Greek thinkers until like the 17th, 18th century to actually propose to the general public the idea of empirical information. Up until that point, it was always, let's consult Aristotle on what this is, because he was always the authority figure on, you know, science and what have you, and all of that jazz. He was the authority figure on all things philosophical, scientific, astronomic? Yeah, whatever. He was the authority figure, and then people started being a little bit more thinky about things, which is not a scientific term, I'm aware, but, you know, I'm trying to be the layman's intellectual. I can't believe I just called myself a layman's intellectual. Oh boy, this is going downhill. But, it took us several thousand years to actually come up with a conclusion that you should think critically about things, always be skeptical. I think it was Pierre Bayle who decided that you should look at things with a more critical eye, a little bit more skepticism, the OG skeptic, in a sense. And, you know, skepticism nowadays gets a bad rap. It gets a bad rap, because a lot of people are pretentious in the skeptic community sphere. But it is important. So long as you're not pretentious about it, you know, it's a healthy tool to have in your, you know, wheelhouse, definitely. Alright, so I'm gonna pull in Roundhammer. Hello, Roundhammer. I see you're muted. And Berserker5150. Some channel regulars. Say hello to them, chat. We're gonna dive into some of these articles. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves thus far. It's been a day. Hang on, let me.
I have been reading.
You've been reading. Well, I have not, and I'm okay with that. Because I want to go into the secondary sources of this Mueller report with an open mind about what they want to convince me about. And then, and only then, with a biased perspective, and I know this is counterintuitive to what it is that I literally just said, but I think it's going to be fun. I'm making a point. And then, and only then, I will read the Mueller report, whatever. And we will probably have a follow-up of some sort, talking about it. And then we will discuss. I see Dr. Strangelove is still pissed at me for my last video, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine, Dr. Strangelove. I'm not mad. I'm not mad that you called me a baby killer. So, are you boys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I sure? Think so.
Are you positive?
I'm positive that I'm negative, that I'm positive that I'm good to go.
Okay.
I'm about as positive as Magic Johnson's AIDS.
All right. Good. Because I'm about to the amount so many tabs, so little time. It is what it is. Let me just decongest some of this nonsense, because I kind of went crazy with the nonsense. And I also had a point. Let's start with that. Let's start with that point. All right. So I'm gonna hide the chat. Get the
Robin Hood is in the waiting room.
Oh, Robin Hood's in the waiting room. Robin, we're inviting you. Let's get a second female perspective in here. So, I wanted to make a point, and that was the Mueller report came out at 11 p.m. Eastern. I think it was Eastern Standard Time, but, you know, I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure everyone uses EST as like this is the one we start from, and then everything else just kind of goes from there, because that's what they do with TV. But I'm not 100% sure. So it could have been 11.
It
could have
depends.
been noon. They never actually specify which time zone they released it in that was 11, but it was 11. Anyway, so if it was released at 11, it's been about 5 hours. A lot of these articles were written 1 to 2 to 3 hours to half an hour out from the release of this report to the whole public. Now, I want you to understand, people, this report is 450 pages long. Actually, 448 if we're being precise. About 1/3 of it, from what I could tell, from what I researched, actually. I didn't actually determine the percentage of what was redacted, but 1/3 of it, give or take, is redacted. And
It needs to be pointed out that also this is 450 pages of legalese.
that too. So not everyone's going to 100% actually understand the language of what is being put into this document. That's another thing. So comprehension is a thing. The other thing that I wanted to get across was, and I have it pulled up here, it's your average paper is about 450 to 500 words per page, so you can reasonably guess that the low minimum of number of words on this was like south of 200,000. So if I actually did the math, so let's see, right? 448 pages. 448, and it's going to the top. That's fine. Times, what was it, 450? Let's go low estimate, right? Okay, that's a little bit north of that. And then you have to account for 9 of those first, pages of the report were actually tables of content stuff, so that's 330, or 439, right? Yes. So that new number goes down to just south of 200,000. All right? Got it? The average person... Oh, and it's 1/3 redacted, so let's go 0.66. That's how many words it is total. Now, in about 2 hours, because let's use a nice round number, divide that by 120 minutes, right? Because that's important. And that's about 1,086 words per hour that they were reading at. And you'll notice that on average, a person reads about 200 to 300 words per minute. So, assuming that they read the whole thing, they didn't comprehend a goddamn thing. They skimmed it, most likely. They were looking, or they were, looking in terms of, is it the control find button thing? Where you're looking for specific instances of the mention of this word. So, that's another thing.
Like collude?
Reading the headlines.
Or, yes, reading the headlines. You're not actually going in depth. So, when I say we're going to see what the experts have to say, take that with a grain of salt. When I refer to these people as experts, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They are experts in the sense that I am an expert on Voltaire after skimming 20 pages of his work for 20 minutes. I'm not saying that's exactly what I did, but that's exactly what I did last night.
You are definitely an expert.
I am a 100% an expert on Voltaire now.
100%.
And his letters on the English.
Yes.
Don't you know?
Even if you don't speak English, you are now an expert.
That's another key point. But you can bet your ass that their reading comprehension of what it is that they actually focused on. Few things happened, all right? Either everything that they grabbed was just individual sections of sentences that they wanted to look for. So they're out of context in that case. Or they're skimming, which means that their comprehension is crap, worth zilch. They are experts on none of these things. But what they are going to do is purport themselves as experts to you. So, that's the Mueller report itself. I just wanted to bring this up. This is Judd Legume. He's got something against memes. Apparently, innocent people don't need memes. I don't know where he's getting this notion from, but I think it's pretty funny. Pro tip, innocent people don't need memes. And it's got the picture of Donald Trump where he's got the no collusion, no obstruction for the haters and the radical left Democrats, game over, the Game of Thrones image that he tweeted out this morning at like 7 a.m. Jesus, why are you awake that early, Mr. President? But anyway, so that was, I thought, pretty fun. And then we have...
Well, the response to it is perfectly adequate.
Yeah.
Does that mean that none of us are...
Sorry, Robin, what did you say?
Does that mean that none of us are innocent?
None of us are innocent, given that all of us, I'm pretty sure, use memes in our day-to-day lives. We are all filthy criminals.
Yep.
I am a level 3 edgelord, I'll have everyone know.
No one needs memes, he says. I know for a fact that that is false. I need memes like I need caffeine in the morning. It's what gets me up.
I feel that.
Okay, so Ed Krasenstein also had something to say. He said, let's be clear, Robert Mueller didn't prosecute Trump because DOJ guidelines say a sitting president cannot be prosecuted, not because he thought Trump was innocent. Mueller actually said that if Trump was so exonerated, he would have said so. William Barr lied. And then, of course, we don't actually have a direct quote from exactly what he is talking about, so this is completely just off of Ed Krasenstein's head. And if you're
that would fall under high crimes and misdemeanors, and therefore articles of impeachment would be completely justified.
Mm. But no, the point I'm making here is that there is literally no context here for anything that he is saying. I mean, there is context, but he's not actually giving anyone context. So a layman who has no, actual knowledge of the situation himself, or herself, whatever, is going completely off of whatever it is that's here, and literally anything could be derived from it. I'm just saying. That's just a thing that I would like to make a point clear about. And then next we have John Laderola? How do I say this? I have no idea. But he says no reasonable person reads this report and comes out of it thinking Donald Trump didn't commit obstruction of justice. No reasonable person reads this report. This was posted at 11:15 a.m. So he's either the fastest freaking reader that I've ever met, or he is making a wild speculation.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't read the report itself, so I have no idea. But using my powers of skepticism, my powers of deduction, I can safely assume that this man has absolutely no idea what he's talking about at this moment, during this time. I have no idea if he knows what he's talking about now, but, it is what it is. So let's continue. And then, of course, the other Krasenstein brother could not be bothered to actually keep his lovely tweet up. But I have exactly what it is that he said here, and the reason I actually know what exactly it was that he said was because when you save a tweet, right? When you save a tweet, right? It when you bookmark something, it saves the actual language of what it was that you tweeted. So I managed to go back and find exactly what Krasenstein had to say here, even though it was not saved to the Wayback Machine. Which was, Brian Krasenstein on Twitter said, breaking! The Mueller report found that the Trump campaign knew that the emails the Russia hacked from Clinton servers were going to be released. They then made a plan to capitalize on the release of those hacked emails. This is called collusion, #Mueller report. This has been deleted. And I couldn't tell you why. I have no idea why. Why on earth he would delete such a bombshell of information. Nuclear apocalyptic type shenanigans. But let's continue. So, we'll go on to CNN. And one of these articles is, here are 7 key lines from the Mueller report. 7 key lines. 7.
Out of all of that.
7 lines.
Maybe 7.
7. Only 7. I mean, they could probably be run-on sentences. I don't know. I haven't read it. So I don't know exactly what these 7 key lines, are they nuclear apocalyptic type hot takes? Because they might be. I don't know. I haven't read the report yet. But there are 7 key lines that they picked out from the entire 448-page document. 7 key lines that they want you to know about. Just 7.
Okay, so what if they just plugged it into a computer program, searched for key phrases like Trump collusion, Russia, and like only 7 lines pop up. And so like, we got it.
I have
Yeah,
no
like-
idea. I have no idea how it is that they went about looking for these 7 key lines when the most recent update for this article, right now it's 137 that they had this, but the most recent one was from 349. So that's less than, that's 4 hours. That's 4 hours that they had to go through. Oh, here are 11 key lines. See, look it, I just refreshed it, and now there are 11 key lines.
They updated. They're
Literally, right in
Wait,
front of your guys'
7
eyes.
7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven is in on the collusion.
Oh my God.
conspiracy.
But you get my drift, right? 7. We had 7 key lines at 1:30. Now we have 11 key lines at 3:49. What I'm getting at here, ladies and gentlemen, is that they're literally going through the report as we speak, making updates, concluding new things. Thanks, Caleb. The last 60 pages are appendix. Okay, but still, the point
So
here
you
that
can't
I'm
read
making,
that fast.
you still cannot read that fast.
Especially with all that legalese, like it takes work to like try and process it and like understand what it's actually saying.
The idea here, though, however, is that they are currently actually going through and updating their stories based off of new information, right? Because that's why you would update a story, based off of new information that you're getting. So we went from 7 key lines to 11. And you know what? I'm going to refresh each and every single one of these articles that I have, because they're all pretty similar. Excuse me. But I think it's rather interesting. So let's go through some of these key lines that they have from the whole document. If it's 380, thank you, Caleb, or if it's 449 or 8 pages, regardless, you should be able to pick out more than just 11 key lines. And I bet you $10, 10 because I only have $10 to spare, $10 that this number is going to go up at some point.
I can shell you a couple bucks.
No, don't worry about it. The investigation, here's one of the lines. The investigation established that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts, ellipses, ellipses, ellipses. Now, I'm
Really? When it was Hillary Clinton who was the one that authorized the Uranium One deal after suspicious contributions to the Clinton Foundation? And Trump hit them with pretty hard sanctions?
That's true. Caleb, the main point of this stream isn't that they haven't had time to read the whole thing and actually come up with a logical conclusion. The main point that I'm trying to make here is that most laymen people have not read the document in its entirety and are hence getting all of their information from pundits, or not pundits, but news articles and Twitter threads that are selective in their information gathering. So I just want to make that very clear, since you seem to be enthused about this topic of conversation within the chat. So the next one, I think it's this is the key line that they're going for. It's about 3 lines of context. Michael Flynn, who would later serve as National Security Advisor in the Trump administration, recalled that Trump made the request repeatedly, and Flynn subsequently contacted multiple people in an effort to obtain the emails. So this is regards to Hillary Clinton's deleted emails, I believe, and the campaign aides that Trump asked to find said emails. It looks like, I'm looking, the report also says, so this is another line that they included, that they selected from the actual overall thing. Mueller did not establish that Smith was in contact with Russian hackers, or that Smith, Leadin, or other individuals in touch with the Trump campaign ultimately obtained the deleted Clinton emails. So, like I said, I haven't read the Mueller report, so these very well could have been taken out of context. These could have been the full context. This could be, sorry, I had to take a drink of my caffeinated beverage. These could be, you know,
I think you have a problem with caffeine.
I don't have a problem with caffeine. I'm fine.
You might need to go to counseling
I don't
about
need
that.
to go to
I
counseling.
could hook you up with some caffeine that wasn't coffee if you wanted to.
I'm fine. I like my caffeine. I actually need to reheat this. Caleb, if you want to come in, join us if you will. The next point that they make is Mueller does not exonerate Trump on obstruction. So the quote was, while the report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it does not exonerate him, which is basically what we got from Barr's summary in March, or mid-March, mid to late March, I guess you could say. The evidence, quote, about the president's actions and intent presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. So, this is another quote. I'm wondering, are these the, like, so already we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 6 lines so far, and we have the rest of this page to get to, and I'm pretty sure that's a lot more than just 11 lines. So not only is the title a little bit misleading, but, you know, they're kind of doing a little bit, they're sensationalizing the report, in a sense, I would say. By the way, feel free to join in the Discord if you would like to hop on for the call-in segment. We have one more slot open, or if people want to step out, that's totally up to them. But yeah, we will be accepting people on the stream for call-ins. So the next line that they quote from their actual report is, if we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would state. But they have no confidence that he didn't. They also have no confidence that he did, I guess is what that indicates. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a layman intellectual. I'm gonna start calling myself that because I think it's funny. Caleb.
You need to make that a t-shirt.
A layman intellectual.
A layman's intellectual. Yeah, I should make that a t-shirt.
Make
I
it a
just need
t-shirt.
So,
Go ahead.
so Jordan Peterson?
No, I feel like he's a little bit more higher level than me. A little bit. No, he is significantly higher level than me. See, I'm just going through news articles and reading them. I am Sargon, essentially, at this point.
Oh,
So, excuse me, sorry, I apologize.
As long as you're not Keemstar.
Excuse you. I'll watch out for Caleb if he does decide to join.
Yeah,
Balak's
He's
in
here.
the waiting room.
Oh, Balak is here.
Oh, that is Caleb.
That is Caleb.
Caleb.
Hi, Balak. Caleb. Balak.
Hi, Caleb. It's nice to meet you.
We're the links to the articles, by the way,
Nice
are
to
in the
meet you.
stream chat. They're pinned. Did you see that?
Let me check.
Okay, so they're pinned in
I
the stream
can-
chat. You can check. That's the only thing that's pinned there, and we are on the first one.
Do you mind if I repost it? Because they're pretty high up, too.
Yeah, go ahead. So the next one, the line that they used from this is, the president's efforts to influence the investigation were mostly unsuccessful, but this is largely because the person who surrounded the president declined to carry out orders or acceded to his requests. Okay. And then the other line was, rather resign than trigger... No, hang on. Here's the other one. Okay, so every time I see a quotation, I'm just gonna highlight it and read it, and that's it.
So we're on the first point,
Yeah, we're on the
correct?
first one. We're at aides refuse to help efforts to obstruct.
Hang on, which one? Oh, we're on the 7 key line. CNN, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
first one.
Okay, there it is.
So we're talking about Trump directed McGahn to call Rosenstein and tell him Mueller had conflicts of interest and must be removed. And then the other was, rather resign than trigger what he regarded as potential Saturday night massacre. So that was McGahn that said that. And these are...
That's a Watergate reference.
I would have no idea. Thank you, Ronehammer. That is exactly why I get you on. Because you understand references that I know not. The next one has to do with Congress can pursue investigation of Trump obstruction. So, quote, the conclusion that Congress may apply the obstruction laws to the president's corrupt exercise of powers of office records with our constitutional system of checks and balances, and the principle that no person is above the law. So that's basically just stating it exactly what it is that it is. Because I think we're all aware that no person is above the law, and anyone can be prosecuted for reason.
I disagree with that statement, but go on.
You think that people are above the law?
Yes, I think that we definitely have that, as shown by, like, people that openly have admitted to crimes but yet aren't persecuted for them.
Okay, so I'll amend my statement to say, people are treated as if they are above the law, but idealistically, no person is above the law.
Yes.
Theoretically, anyone can be prosecuted for any crime, whether or not the justice system decides to pursue that person for that crime is kind of on a case-by-case basis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's what he meant by that, in that sense. Because it does take someone who is willing to get the ball rolling to actually pursue a person with intent that they are tried and condemned as a result of the justice system. So the next line is, the Constitution does not categorically and permanently immunize a president for obstructing justice. Resident constitutionalists? Anyone? Mueller?
What?
I don't actually know if that's if that is true or not.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear what you were saying.
So, quote, the Constitution does not categorically and permanently immunize a president for obstruction of justice, which I would say is correct, but I am not a constitutionalist. I'm not 100%.
So the Constitution, like, just generally for, like, what a president can be charged for is, like, very vague. That's kind of, like, why this is, like, an issue. Because, like, I think all it really says is, like, treason and other high crimes, and then what defines high crimes.
I would assume that that is up for the interpretation of the courts themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I would reiterate that this is what articles of impeachment are for. Because if such a thing is true, then it falls under the category of high crimes and misdemeanors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This nonsense where you cannot indict a sitting president is ludicrous because, again, the mechanism exists within the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I think, is no one knows what the Constitution meant when they wrote that. Like, treason, I think we all can agree that, like, what defines treason is very defined. Oh, it's someone that's acting against the United States for another interest. But, like, the misdemeanors and high crimes, okay, what does that mean?
Well, obstruction of justice could be easily categorized in that. Conflict of interest, colluding, even though there's no such legal charge as colluding, but conspiracy is the word they really want to use.
Article 2, Section 4, U.S. Constitution, the President, Vice President, and all other civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a sneeze?
No, that was just a... So I don't know why that would be
preemptive
a key
Gesundheit,
point.
then.
I don't know why either of these would necessarily be a key point, because I feel like they're just saying something that people already know.
But the thing is most people don't really know this.
But most of the people who actually would use this document as a... What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, Polydub just brought up a very good point. There's a strong argument that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted, but must be impeached first, then prosecuted afterwards as a private citizen, hence no permanent immunity.
Mm-hmm. So even if they are president and then they become not the president afterwards, or they lose their seat of power, they can still be prosecuted after the fact as well.
See, my thing with this point in general is just like, so it says Mueller says Congress can pursue investigating of Trump obstruction. Okay, Congress could pursue an investigation on Donald Trump smoking weed in 1932. They have the power to do whatever the fuck they want.
1932?
Yeah, you could just make up a year and say he did it and investigate whether or not it happened. Congress has the power to do anything.
Well, yeah, I think that this whole point right here is kind of a nothing burger in terms of, oh, this is a key point, we need to point it out. So, okay. I'd rather have the actual facts of the case rather than just, this is what can happen in this instance. I don't think this is necessary. I'm not going to debate them whether or not something is a key point, but it's kind of interesting that they would include this. Because you have to think of what it is exactly that they are trying to get their audience to think about or conclude from what it is that they are giving us in written format. So, on to the next one. Trump's written answers to Mueller's questions were inadequate. The special counsel viewed an interview with Trump, quote, vital to our investigation, and even considered a subpoena but decided not to because the process could, quote, delay finishing the investigation. Instead, Mueller provided Trump with written questions to answers but was not satisfied with the president's responses. Quote, we noted amongst other findings the president stated on more than 30 occasions that he does not recall or remember or have an independent recollection, quote, end quote, of information called for by the questions. Other answers were, quote, incomplete or imprecise, the report says. The written responses we informed counsel demonstrates the inadequacy of the written format, as we have had no opportunity to ask follow-up questions that would ensure complete answers and potentially refresh your client's recollection or clarify the extent or nature of his lack of recollection. Blah, blah, blah. Then wouldn't the onus be on them, I guess? Based off... Okay, sorry. What did I say? We are not discussing the actual report itself. It's the intention behind what it is that they're reporting in with regards to the report. Sorry. I haven't had time to actually look at the Mueller report, so I don't know what it says. I just know what they are saying that it says. And that's very important.
skimmed through it. The very beginning is I got through like the first 50 pages. There's really not much in it.
Hold on, don't. Shh. I can't believe you, Balak. Alright? Because the whole point of this stream is that I'm trying to get people to think critically and do their own research and look at their own primary sources, because you can't really draw conclusions from secondary sources that are worth their salt. Am I right? As a classics person, you understand this, correct?
Is Balak cheating on the game show?
Balak is cheating on the game show. How dare you, Balak? It's fine. Well, okay.
Well, hey, if you ain't cheating, you don't want to win bad enough.
He probably, because right before we went live, we had a discussion about, how much a person could actually read of the report themselves, just on their own. And Caleb Balak made a point about, how most of it was redacted, or a third of it was redacted, or whatever.
It's ridiculous. Their whole page is completely blank.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was, just scrolling through.
Here's one page. We get the footnotes. You get 26, 27, 28. 26 footnote is blacked out. 27's blacked out, and then 28. The term troll refers to internet users. In this context, paid operatives who post inflammatory or otherwise disruptive content on the social media or other websites. That is the only thing on that page.
So
Top 10 anime betrayals of all time.
So, we now know what the legal definition of troll is.
Oof. Well then. Alright, we still need to get through all of these articles. I'm sorry. We're gonna power through. So they could not prove that Trump Jr. willfully broke law with Trump Tower meeting. Quote. Okay, so I'm just gonna read the actual quote from the report. The office ultimately concluded that even if the principal legal questions were resolved favorably to the government, a prosecution would encounter difficulties proving that campaign officials or individuals connected to the campaign willfully violated the law. Okay.
Yes, that is called Oppo research.
Research. The next one.
And once they found out they had nothing, they cut the meeting.
Of course.
Okay, I would like to point out that actually going through some of this, there's some funny shit in here. Did you know the Russians had LGBTQ groups?
Stop poisoning my brain. I'm trying to let CNN
United
tell me exactly
Muslims
what
of America.
Balak. You are impeding the intentions of all of these articles that I've willfully collected to curb my opinion in such a way that they want me to think. How dare you?
Sorry.
That was such an insincere sorry.
Sorry.
It was very
sorry.
I think he's fibbing.
I think he's making a funny.
Is he really sorry though?
I don't think he's really sorry.
Hey, Blacktvist and Don't Shoot Us are also Russian Facebook groups.
Balik, how dare you? You're poisoning my mind.
It's all very meta.
So Ivanka and Hope Hicks knew Don Jr. was seeking dirt on Clinton. Of fucking course! Okay.
Again, I reiterate, Oppo research.
Because Hillary's never sought dirt on anyone in her life?
No,
Nope.
Hillary's had people killed.
Never.
Okay, am I supposed to
that
think-
was suicide. They
Oh.
just shot themselves 5 times in the back of the head in a dark alley.
Oh my
With the
god.
gun in the wrong hand.
See, I keep hearing things about that, and I'm too scared to actually look into them because I think that I'm gonna get killed for a wrong thing.
I'm not
Well,
dead
they're
yet, so you're fine.
just going to cure your very, very bad headache,
Whoa,
like they did
Hammer.
Vince Foster.
Hammer,
Hammer,
is starting to
your
get a
mic.
little bit...
Yeah,
Hang on.
your mic
How
is
much is the
messed
Clinton
up.
body count at?
I don't know.
Isn't it like in the 80s?
I'm scared to look, man.
Here, Caleb. Why don't you look it up for us and then tell us the number, and then when you don't come back after, we will know what happened.
All right, I'm gonna read this next quote while you look into that. Quote: Gates believed that Trump Jr. said the information was coming from a group of Kyrgyzstan and that he was introduced to the group by a friend. Gates recalled that the meeting was attended by Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Paul Manafort, Hope Hicks, and joining late Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. See, I don't know why this is such a point of keyness, a key line. I feel like CNN's wasting my time, honestly. They're trying to get me to think, oh no, people seeking dirt on people in a political election for to get ahead?
I wonder if this is one
Yes.
of the things that they added for the 11 before it was, like, after it was the 7. I wonder if that's
maybe
one of
they
the...
needed to beef up their article a little bit.
Mhm.
That'd be
Okay.
interesting.
So there are about like 40 people that can be directly.
He
Connected to
actually
the-
looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
I
then,
expected nothing less.
but then here are more people that they think. The Waco, Texas, compound was 76
thing.
dead.
Oh, boy.
The Oklahoma City bombing that was also connected
Yes.
by Bill Clinton, and so was a Yugoslav bridge bombing that killed 500 to 2,000 people.
Wah, wah.
Oh,
Also-
and then apparently they bombed Iraq and Iran, or just Iraq from during the 1990s, and we killed 1.2 to 1.7 million people.
With one bombing?
I
That's
don't know.
impressive.
I also, for the sake of Bailick's argument, I live in Arkansas where we had 2 teenagers that were brutally murdered, and then subsequently it was like, oh, it was just a fucking accident. They got ran over by a train. After getting stabbed and shot 5 times, just because they saw a drug shipment come in that was actually connected to Bill Clinton as when he was president.
Oh, here's the famous one: is that Mary Mahoney? She was a White House intern who got gunned down at a coffee shop in Georgetown.
Why on earth would that be the case?
Well, no. So this happened like right at the Monica Lewinsky scandal,
Oh.
and it got released that the person's name was M, and her name is M, so they thought it was her, but it ended up being Monica.
I've been told that lady was the one who invented the grapefruit technique. Bill was a big fan.
Okay. So we are going to continue on with the CNN article because we do have to power through some of this stuff. I have a point to make, I promise. Continuing on, Trump misled the public on the Trump Tower meeting, but it wasn't criminal. Okay.
So what was it?
Well, let's find out. Quote, each of these efforts by the president involved his communications team and was directed at the press. They would amount to obstructive acts only if the president, by taking these actions, sought to withhold information from or mislead congressional investigators or the special counsel.
So that's really just the news saying that it's bullshit that he can mislead us, but not the investigative team.
So the other quote that they have for this section is the president held Hicks to say only that Trump Jr. took a brief meeting and it was about the Russian adoption. Mueller found that did not mention the offer of derogatory information about Clinton. Quote, principal subjects of... I don't know why it is that they don't just quote the full thing. Instead, they have to fill in gaps with little thingies. You know?
That's because they are trying to manipulate the information and people's interpretation of it.
That's exactly what I'm getting at here. Read the
Or you're just getting literally everything that it says and everything else is just redacted, so you're just assuming what the rest says.
Maybe. I don't know. But you know what? I haven't read the report yet, so I don't know if what they're saying is actually on par or if they are, taking things and making them not what they are. Honestly, that's why it's going to be linked in the description down below. This is why the whole point of this stream is to get you to think critically about what it is that people tell you and to kind of maybe enthuse you to go over to actually reading the report for yourself. Because yes, I know, it's... Balick, you said 380 pages because after the appendix it's just like... Right?
Yeah, if you actually go through and see how long it is, I just wanted to see how much I could read. In about 30 minutes I got through 50 pages because so much stupid shit's on here.
Okay. Well, did you actually comprehend everything that you read, or was it just skimming?
It was all summary of what I knew had occurred, so it was discussing the July 6th stuff when it would discuss I loved its reference to the grab 'em by the pussy because it was a derogatory remark on women was released.
Oh, okay. Wait, hey, what did I say about poisoning my brain?
Ruining the wholesomeness.
You're ruining the wholesomeness.
God, Balick.
It's okay. We're a wholesome, family-friendly show, by the way. But you also have to consider, Balick, you read at an alarmingly fast pace.
I read too much.
You do read too much.
You do.
That's part of your academic, inclination, though. That's what you do.
And legalese is actually very easy to read.
Well, that's because...
For you.
Again, this is what you do, Balick.
For you.
I don't want to hear it, okay? Okay? Everyone, you have to understand that Balick himself reads for fun. A lot of stuff for fun. And he reads very fast for fun.
So do I.
And...
It's a good skill.
I third.
Balick is deciding between lawyering and other stuff for the rest of his life. So he's kind of got a stacked bag right now. So
basically, he gets hard on legalese. Basically.
Sure. Okay, so up next, Sarah Sanders misled the media about the firing of the FBI director. Okay, why do we care about Sarah Sanders? Other than the fact that she is the White House correspondent person. That's her. We care about Donald Trump and whether or not he colluded. And I get it. We need to go into detail about the other people surrounding Trump, but honestly, how much do you think that Sarah actually interacts with the president on a day-to-day basis?
Quite a bit.
Do you think it's she knows everything about the way
Well,
that
isn't
he's
she
running the country?
isn't she essentially him, except slightly better at talking to the media?
She's not the president, though, so she's not privy to every single little conversation that he's in with. She just knows what they give her, right?
Yes.
What is, I would venture to guess that the extent of her position isn't, oh, I know all of the redacted thingies. I know everything that's going on. No, she only knows what is imperative for her to know in order to give a succinct press statement. Unless, of
Correct.
course, she's a little bit better at her job than I thought she was. I don't know. But, quote, Sanders told the office that her reference to hearing from countless members of the FBI was a slip of the tongue. She also recalled that her statement in separate press interview that rank-and-file FBI agents had lost confidence in Comey was a comment she made in the heat of the moment that was not founded on anything. This is just nothing burger. This is a nothing burger. I don't care. I do not care. Okay, and the next one, Trump dropped F-bomb after Mueller got the job. Now, I have been seeing reports of this, but This is probably one of those things that they added up at the end, didn't they? Probably.
Do you want me to search?
Yeah, can you check the Wayback Machine? See if this is one of the things that they added on at the end. So the quote was directly said, or he slumped back in his chair and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked." When Robert Mueller was appointed to investigate the Russian interference.
Russian government links and contacts. Russian hacking and dumping
Wait,
operation.
I thought you were supposed to bleep everything now, Weebo.
Am I supposed to bleep everything?
Yes, with
'Cause
your
we're
new
wholesome?
format. The new format.
No, if I'm reading the news, it's okay. I think. I honestly don't know specifically what it is that the rules are, so I'm taking a gamble. I'm assuming that if I am reading things that have to do with politics, we Gucci gang, right?
Well, you
What do
know,
you think-
Ranting
I don't know
Monkey
what that
takes a
means.
gamble every time he tries the stairs, so...
Okay, do you
That
think
doesn't
that
work
would
out too
be... Where would that be at, do you think? Would that be in the prosecution and declination decisions?
Oh, no. What I'm asking you to do is go to the Wayback Machine. Go to the Wayback Machine and see what was different in terms of...
I don't know what the fuck the Wayback Machine is.
Oh, Balak, you have so much to learn and you call yourself an intellectual. JK.
I mean, we also did call him an intellectual, so...
That's fair.
He is a layman's intellectual.
No. I'm a layman's intellectual.
What?
No, he's a...
I'd
he's a
venture to say that Balak is a little bit... What?
Can't have
lawman's
cohorts in that
intellectual?
category?
Why is it sending me to Captain Marvel nonsense? I don't... This is... Okay, there we go.
Yeah, your personality is not nearly as flat as Brie Larson's.
Thanks. Yeah, for whatever reason, it sent me to something completely not what I wanted.
Also, I want to bring
It's
up
still
that I
sending me-
highly...
Okay, you know what? This venture is pointless. I don't care about it anymore. So we have the second article. And this was updated 41 minutes ago. But I bet you, if I reload the page... Okay. If I reload this page, it'll have been updated very recently. Alright, ready? I'm gonna... reload. Oh, it's updated 41 minutes ago. Go New York Times. See, they know what they're doing. No, I'm just kidding.
They know
See-
they know how to write one.
Yeah.
Hey, at least the New York Times one says what we know so far.
Mm-hmm. So far from the Mueller. How do I say it? Does anyone know? Does anyone
Mueller.
actually know? Is it Mueller?
Oh, it's Mueller, but I still pronounce it Mueller.
No, it is definitely Mueller, and I will pronounce it Mueller until he changes his name legally.
Hang on. Am I allowed to? No, I can't. So let's see what the New York Times has to tell us about the Mueller report. Quote, Mueller examined about 10 actions by President Trump to determine whether he sought to obstruct justice but could not reach a conclusion. He found a concerted effort by Russia to interfere in the 2016 election, but established no criminal conspiracy between Mr. Trump's campaign and Russia. The next one. Oh, that was a
hot.
good one.
Classy.
All right, can I get a grade? Can I get a rating on that? Gentlemen in the
Seven.
That
chat.
is
Fuck.
8.75.
On a scale of 1 to treason, I'm gonna give you a Julian Assange.
Julian Assange did nothing
He's not-
wrong.
He's not an American citizen, therefore it's.
He can't be
Hey, that's
treasonous.
that's a trick question.
He did nothing wrong. He shouldn't be in jail. It's fucking bullshit he is in jail.
That's not why we're here. Get back
That's
to the
not why
fucking
we're
point.
here. Back to the topic at hand, gentlemen, please and thank you. I need to wrangle my stream better, obviously.
Hey, how do I get rid of the actual stream on my screen? Because I can't stand looking at your face not talking right now.
Minimize
Like right now
it.
you're laughing.
You can
Ouch.
X out of the stream.
But I want to see the chat.
Okay, go to the chat. Press okay.
Pop out chat. There it is.
Yeah, pop out the chat,
Ah.
and then you can X out of the stream, and you don't have to worry about it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Figured it out.
Boomer
He-
Balak over here.
he's smart, but he's
doesn't-
not like
He's not
that smart.
He's not internet
He's
street
he's
smart.
not the correct type of.
He is not attuned to the hip and the young.
No.
Continuing on. So the report detailed dramatic conflicts within the White House when Mr. Trump learned of Mr. Mueller's appointment.
Mueller.
Mueller.
Mueller. He slumped in his chair and said, "Oh my god, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency." Hang on. We're missing a keyword.
We are.
I'm
Where it be at?
pretty sure
Farfignugan?
they just censored it.
I just wanna say I doubt Donald Trump saw anything like that. He would
Yeah,
probably be more into exploring options of how do we get rid of this guy or how do we bury him.
Well,
How
I
do
would
we head
venture-
this off?
I
That doesn't sound like how he speaks.
I would like to know how it is that they know that that's the case. I haven't read the report, so I don't know, but they're not telling me how it is that Mueller.
Press
know
X
about
to
it.
doubt.
Mr. M.
I have no idea. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it, but I have no idea as of right now how exactly it is that they know this. I just know that they do know this. I just know that they know that this was something that was said according to Mueller.
Mueller.
They know it happened, but they're not
I
telling
just
us
wanna-
how they know that it happened, or how they know that Mueller knows that it happened. Does it make sense?
I just want to clarify the reason I said what I said was because looking at it logically, Donald Trump was doing business back when the mafia still had a significant amount of power in New York. So clearly he's going to have more of that kind of a mindset than, oh my God, they caught me. Whoops.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency is something you see in a movie script.
I'm trying to figure out,
Mhm.
okay, where is this?
What do you mean? This is the end of my presidency?
Oh, here we go. Everyone tells me if you get, this is apparently added on, everyone tells me if you get one of these independent councils, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and years and I won't be able to do anything. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, he added.
Oh.
So he never really, it's taken out of context here.
Shh! Balak, how dare you poison my mind? Shh! How dare you? How dare?
Honestly, I'm so confused as to what he just said.
Okay, so the full quote in context is, "Oh my god, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked. Everyone tells me if you get one of these independent councils, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and years and I won't be able to do anything. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me."
So he's not saying it because he's guilty. He's saying it because from what he's heard, even having this done to him means that his presidency is basically...
How
Yes.
dare you poison my mind?
He won't be
Against these articles.
due to the hit legislatively, he can't exert any power. So, okay.
Okay.
Dare you give
Oh,
me context?
oh my god. Context.
So
How dare you?
it's so out of context.
Meanwhile,
Shame on
Ilhan
you.
Omar was taken out of context when she said some people did some things.
Yes.
Side tangent aside, guys, come on, stop trying to poison my mind against these articles and what it is that
I
they're
want
trying
to
to
know
get
where
believe.
this was.
Let me poison you, Weebo.
Stop it. Okay, so the Attorney General, William P. Barr, there we go, offered a strong defense of Mr. Trump and said he gave the president's lawyers access to Mr. Mueller's report earlier this week before it was released. As is their right, I would assume? Right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he
That's
can say
not a
no
big
and then they get a warrant.
That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's already out. What are they gonna do? Shred it? There's another copy somewhere, I'm sure. No, let's give the president the only copy. This is a nothing burger. I don't care.
Are you quoting Van Jones now?
No. Okay, so while Mr. Mueller's investigation is over, he reported that it has spawned 14 spin-off inquiries. Into what? About what? With regards to what? Whom? Why do we care? Why is this here?
We care because Orange Man bad.
At a
Okay,
White
I'm really
House-
trying to find this. Oh,
It doesn't
197.
go into more detail at all.
Okay. At a White House event for wounded troops, Mr. Trump claimed vindication to cheers from the audience. Democrats lashed out at Mr. Barr and said it was up to Congress to hold the president to account. Why do we care? I'm sorry, but this is just... Okay, so we go in. That was like the SparkNotes version of this, and I'm just gonna continue on. By the way, everyone, after the stream is over, I will post all of the links to all of the things that we are talking about, that we have mentioned, that we've brought up on the stream, and they will go in the description of this stream, I promise. But for right now, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, because if I spoil it for you, then you'll just read ahead, because I know that's what you're gonna do. Okay, so this was written at 12:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as far as I'm aware, an hour and 30 minutes after the release of the report. And these are 14 must-read moments from the Mueller report. Only 14. Only 14.
I really wish they would point to where they're at in the Mueller report.
Right? I know. That would be so much fun.
Because, like, right now I want to know exactly the context of this thing with the...
Balik, context is your enemy.
No, I need the
Yeah, that is a social construct of white patriarchy.
Okay, it's definitely not in the
Context
section
of
titled
races.
Jeff Sessions.
Okay. I'm gonna reload the page. Alright, we're gonna see exactly how much it changes and if it's been updated. Ready? Ready? Ready?
I'm not watching.
Updated at 4:10 p.m., which was
It's
an hour ago.
loading.
for me.
For whatever reason, it's taking forever to load.
Oh, ET?
It's
Oh,
not.
It
report.
was-
Okay.
It just read 15 must-read moments.
I still have
They took-
14.
They took one away.
They took one away? Hang on, I gotta... Did you repost
Because
it?
Yeah, I
posted
did.
that page on my browser before the show started. So it originally, my copy read 15.
Page 78. Okay. Of part 2 of this document. Sorry.
I
Hang
did
on.
There's
repost.
There's 2 sections of this.
I'm gonna look up this.
It takes so long to scroll. 59.
Oh, this is an archive version of the article. How sweet of them. Right?
So
Yeah,
this
it
is
says-
their old version?
This is the old version.
Oh. Okay.
Hang on. Let's find the new version. Atlantic.
Okay, here we go. I found the full context of the "I'm fucked" statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Sessions stepped out of the Oval Office to take a call from Rosenstein, who told him about the special counsel appointment, and Sessions then returned to inform the president of the news.
Oh.
According to notes written by Hunt, when Sessions told president that a special counsel had been appointed, the president slumped back in his chair and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked." The president became angry and lambasted the attorney general for his decision to recuse from the investigation, stating, "How could you let this happen, Jeff?" The president said that the position of the attorney general was his most important appointment and that Sessions had let him down, contrasting him to Eric Holder and Robert Kennedy. Sessions recalled that the president said to him, "You were supposed to protect me," or words to that effect. The president returned to the consequences of the appointment and said, "Everyone tells me if you get one of these independent counsels, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and years, and I won't be able to me." The president then told Sessions that he should resign as attorney general. Sessions agreed and to submit his resignation. And apparently Donald Trump was so upset that the only other time he was like that was when the Access Hollywood tape came out, which is the grab him by the pussy video.
Wah, wah. So
No. The line is, they let you.
They do let you. Apparently. Because they're groupies. So this was updated on April 18th at 4:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the Atlantic article that I've been, looking to see exactly what it was. So with regards to their updates. Oh, happy birthday to you, Mr. Poop in the chat. Good for you. Attorney General William Barr released special counsel.
Happy birthday.
No, this is not
We
Vote
have
of the Night.
a format.
We don't sing Happy Birthday. That's stealing Ranty Monkey's thunder.
Yeah.
That's also copyright.
No, actually, not anymore. I keep hearing that, but it's not the case anymore.
Is it
Yeah,
not?
it's because Michael Jackson's dead. He doesn't own it anymore.
So, continuing on, because I'm trying to wrangle the people on this stream. Attorney General William Barr released Special Counsel Robert Mueller's long-awaited report on his investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election on Thursday. Though some of the findings have been redacted, a third! The report will give the public a clearer sense of what the special... Okay, we already get that. The report covers the special counsel's investigation into Russian efforts to influence the 2016 election and details 10 episodes that Mueller's team examined as part of its inquiry into whether President Donald Trump obstructed justice. 4 types of information are redacted in the information... Okay, we don't care about that.
Are we on the Atlantic article?
This is the Atlantic article.
Which point?
We are at the first point.
The preamble.
Well, I literally just finished the preamble.
First point.
Okay.
So the first point is the special counsel's office explained why it didn't bring criminal charges related to collusion, and details how some of the individuals it investigated or interviewed lied or deleted communications. Okay. Next one. In a section related to episodes involving the president and possible obstruction of justice, Mueller's team explains how it determined not to make a traditional prosecutorial judgment. But the special counsel's team also said it was unable to definitively conclude that Trump did not commit obstruction of justice. So that's point 2. 3. On the question of whether the Trump Tower meeting among Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort, and a Russian lawyer amounted to collusion, the Mueller team writes...
Mueller.
See, there we go.
Mueller.
An actual
Mueller.
full-on quote that's not just, here's this thing that is this thing. No, I want an actual quote. Even if it's out of context, that's better than just...
Hey, that's my birthday. Sorry.
No, you're fine. The next one. 4. The Mueller team details Trump's reaction when he found out that his special counsel had been appointed. We already read that. Wait, hang on.
Hey, this has the whole thing.
Yeah, this actually has the whole thing. So good on you, Atlantic. Good for you. But it's actually, they also do the whole... they do the whole, like, quote, explanation, here's a partial quote from a sentence, that thing, that lovely thing, the paraphrasing thing. Love that. I feel like I wish to God, because I just spent yesterday writing a paper, and I had to cite everything with footnotes in Chicago-style format, because it was a history paper I was writing on Voltaire.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Chicago's amazing.
Chicago is nice, but
Chicago's scary.
No, Chicago's by far the best. Oh my god.
I don't like going there.
Chicago is one of the most corrupt cities in the nation for generations.
I get it, I know. Okay.
Chicago has the best pizza.
Continuing on.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
Guys, you're tangenting from my tangent about this thing.
But we will continue.
I'm trying to make a point here, and that point is, I feel like we should get, anytime a reporter is reporting on a specific thing, they should be, I don't want to say mandated, but required to, for professionalism's sake, cite their sources in a specific style.
Well, no, because the problem with that is then you'd have all the news, all the news sites that literally do circle logic is absolutely terrible. Like, they wouldn't have anything to go off of, because, how are you going to cite someone who cites you for the same information?
Exactly. See, it holds people to a better account of what it is they're saying, because if people cite other people that are citing themselves, then it kind of breeds a little bit more skepticism in the people themselves. I think it's a good thing. But I think were you making that point, Balik?
I think it is a good thing, but then the problem is then all the news that cites each other. I've literally tried to find an article, with the proof of an article, and it would take me to one website. That website would take me to another website, which takes me back to the first website. So there were 3 websites. You
mean like the Steele dossier?
Yes, it was like that essentially. They kept pointing to. They were pointing at each other, and they're like, "This is where we got the information," but it was like, someone had it first, and you're all saying the other person had it first.
So who had it first? Where are you getting your information? Where is it originating from? It's impossible to find a primary source with this stuff unless there is an actual primary source. In this case, the report itself. That is your primary source. Go to the primary source. Don't use a secondary source. I can't stress this enough. It is so irksome. Don't you agree, Balik?
Yeah.
So
Mr.
what I-
Unnamed Source is impeccable in his credentials, I'll have you know.
I
would
love
like to
unnamed
say,
sources.
I gathered I'm supposed to use a secondary source, not a primary source.
Speaking
No,
of unnamed
you
sources,
should use a thirdary source.
third or dairy, is that
A
what that's
tertiary
called?
source?
I thought it was tertiary.
Yes, that
Tertiary.
word.
Whatever.
Here.
Alright, number 5. Trump tried to persuade former Attorney General Jeff Sessions to unrecuse himself from the special counsel's investigation. Okay. So that might be a little bit more important, I'd say. But like I said, I haven't read the report yet, so they could be lying to me, or they could just be taking this out of context. I have no idea, because I haven't read it yet. I keep making this point. You think that people are going to get it? You think people are actually going to read the report itself, or are they just going to go off of what other people say and hope for the best? Because I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen.
I can definitely read that part because I'm right next to it.
Okay. Number 6, in June 2017, Trump told then White House counsel Don McGahn to direct the acting attorney general to remove Mueller as special counsel. Okay, that's also something that would be important, but like I said, I haven't read the report, so I don't know if this is actually what it says, or if it's been taken out of context. I can't iterate this enough.
Okay, this is something I don't see why no one's talking about. Donald Trump literally ordered someone to remove the special counsel.
Really?
Yeah.
And we're hung up on the "my presidency is fucked" comment?
Yeah. That weekend the president called McGahn and directed him to have the special counsel removed because of asserted conflicts of interest.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know if this is the case. Balak, stop trying to poison me. Number 7, a few months before this episode, Trump called McGahn into his office and said he wished Roy Cohen, word, a longtime associate of his, were his lawyer. I don't know why that's a thing.
Number 7.
Why does that count? Why does that mean anything? Why does that matter? Am I missing something here?
The president opened the conversation by saying, "I don't have a lawyer." I don't know if that's like...
Excuse me.
Can you stop?
That was a pretty good one.
That was a good one. Can I get a rating in the chat, please?
I would give that one an 8. It was better than the last one.
Speaking of 8, Mueller's team detailed how Trump answered written questions on certain Russian-related topics, but did not agree to provide written answers on questions about obstruction of justice or events during his presidential transition. The team explains why it chose not to subpoena him. Okay. Cool story, bruh.
So basically, he answered some questions, but he didn't answer
All of them.
other questions, and then they're pissed.
Well, isn't that
Yeah,
their
but
fault?
then read this part. This is where it gets amazing.
Okay, I guess I'll read this one. Ultimately, while we believe that we had the authority and legal justification to issue a grand jury subpoena to obtain the president's testimony, we chose not to do so.
Dun, dun, dun! Hey, Weebo, answer these questions for me. No.
Okay. We made that decision in view of the substantial delay that such an investigation step would likely produce at a large stage in our investigation. Why does it matter if there's a delay? You have all the time in the frickin' world. It's not like the president's going anywhere unless, I mean, I don't know, someone is planning to... I don't... Is it you wanted to impeach him that badly? Is it that? I have no idea.
Yes.
I haven't read it yet. But is that why you kind of, didn't do your due diligence? I mean, you had all of the time in the world. You had all of the funding. You had all of this, nonsense at your beck and whim. You could have done all of this, yet you chose not to. Because it would have taken too long.
They wanted it out before the election so they could impeach him. That way the Democratic Party would run into the election without an impeached president. The Republican Party would be utterly fucked, and then the Democrats, due to that, would instantly win.
Oh, that is interesting.
Sorry, but this is not an episode of The West Wing.
So you kind of just bit yourself in the butt. Interesting.
Well, that's why they're opening more investigations.
What do you think they're gonna find before the actual?
No, it's not about what they're going to... No, because if you think that the investigations are going to be done before this election cycle, you're dead wrong.
Probably
The
not.
reason they're opening the investigations is because they know they've already lost this election.
Yeah.
Why would you
Yeah,
waste...
the odds are extremely low that they'll even be able to provide a candidate worth voting for, let alone policies.
Well, they've already got the vote and all of the finances for the Democratic candidate. The DNC candidate, like split 87 different ways. So.
Well, exactly. If right now they think that they can spend millions of dollars and they will have, like, they're wasting millions of dollars hoping that they dig something up. Okay, that shows that they're desperate.
They have been desperate since 2016, when the Queen did not receive her crown.
No, they weren't.
Yes.
They weren't desperate
And what are they...
until that point.
What are they going to do when they once again realize, oh shit, we just can't call people racist? What will they do? Will they continue to call people racist, or
I
will
don't
they
think
actually...
they're ever going to actually realize that that's the case, Balik.
They'll invent a new word, because they've already invented alt-right to replace racist. Because think about it, racist is hardly used.
I thought the alt-righters themselves came up with that terminology, and then it was co-opted by, you know...
Do you know what? There's a few of them that I don't understand. So xenophobia, that's a negative thing, right?
Allegedly.
Depends.
But, like, okay.
I don't know what that is.
Xenophobia is fear of people
Fear of strangers.
Fear of the alien.
Okay, so here's my question. Do you lock your doors at night?
Actually, we wait until the last person comes in the house
why
to
do you
lock
lock
our
your
doors.
doors at night?
I'm from New York originally. I lock my doors even when I'm not locking my doors.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you lock your doors?
Because, it's to protect everybody outside from me when they come inside uninvited.
Well, the term xenia is actually a Greek term meaning guest friendship, and that is the concept of inviting someone into your household and giving them the proper respect that a guest would. That's feeding them, that's clothing them, and that is expecting the same in return from your guest as well. So
that's why
the
you
laws
put
of
phobia at the end.
hospitality. A phobia of that is, you are afraid of allowing people into your household and accepting them and giving them food and clothing and bedding and whatever, and, them also being afraid to do that as such.
I mean,
considering that's happening to the tune of almost $150 billion a year in taxpayer expenditure to cover illegal aliens, yeah, I kind of got a problem with that.
Well,
it depends on how it is that you look at it. The laws of hospitality in ancient Greece were a little bit more geared towards the more wealthier classes.
Yeah, they probably changed those rules after Odysseus got home.
I would like to offer a better take on it.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, from religious point of view, also ancestral, the Nine Noble Truths. One of the Nine Noble Truths is hospitality. The way the Norse and the Celts looked at it is hospitality until it can do harm or inconvenience to me and my people. That's a better idea. Like, oh, cool. Oh, somebody's trying to kill you in your home country? Yeah, cool. You can stay over here for a little bit till we ship you off to somewhere else.
Well,
like, fuck it.
So, Devil Fruit Zero. Xenia led to many, many, many deaths in myth and in history. You don't ask the name of the person and let them in your house. Stupid. If you read, for instance, I think... Oh, God, I need to brush up on my Odyssey. But, I think he's referring to
the suitors were trying to usurp Odysseus by, forcing his wife to declare him dead and choose a new husband and therefore king.
Well, okay, so if you read your Odyssey, like I think you guys did.
I did read Odyssey. Are you talking about where they tried to do the thing where they like shot an arrow through the axes with the hole?
Well,
that was after
she came up with.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where she came up with all these ridiculous tasks, and the suitors were busy fighting over each other in order to get her to choose someone.
She being the wife of Odysseus, who was the king of Ithaca at the time.
Ithaca.
So, Ithaca.
I just finished this story today.
Okay.
I'm judging silently.
I own it. I'm judging.
She being the lady of the house of Odysseus, had to accept suitors into her household and feed them and clothe them to a fault, to the point where basically they were eating her out of house and home, and she had to be extra nice to them, and they were taking advantage of that. Now,
Penelope, however, was pretty clever in figuring out different trials and tasks for them to do.
Yes, the concept of Xenia itself is meant to protect both the guest and the host, but if one of either individual, the guest or the host, imposes on the guest or the host in some negative way that disrespects the guest's friendship, the concept of Xenia, then the other party has the right to take revenge, essentially. Thanks, Balik. Anyway, so we need...
I don't know what you're talking about.
I see your message. It's held for review. You can't post it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Robin. Anyway, so we're on number 9, ladies and gentlemen. We just had a lovely tangent into Greek history. By the way, I think next week I'm going to do the Greek stream.
Hey, I have a question.
What?
Who here thinks that humans are worth more morally than other animals?
You mean...
Not more than
me.
dogs.
You don't think,
Dogs
like,
are
okay,
best.
if you had to, like, choose between saving a human or saving a dog, you'd save the dog?
Depends
No, I'd
on...
save the
Every
human.
time.
It depends
Depends
on
on
who
the
the human is.
Human.
Okay, so thinking that humans are
Dogs
better...
to
Okay,
me.
what about a
And
goldfish?
who is the dog to me?
No,
What if it was a goldfish?
no.
Do I get to eat the goldfish?
Who is the goldfish
No.
to me?
Then
Okay,
you are a
Balak, I must-
speciesist.
It
Balak,
says-
I must point out that I'm a combat veteran, so I have proven just by my actions that some human beings are not worth keeping alive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Side
yes,
tangent.
but our-
Okay,
Side tangent. I'm
going
wrangling the
back.
stream. I'm wrangling the stream.
Going back.
We have to get back on topic because we literally got off into 8 bajillion things. Thanks, Balak.
No, I found a new word. It's the word of the day. Speciesism.
I don't care.
Speciesism is
We'll
a
talk
form
about
of
it later.
discrimination.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it over dinner, alright?
Dude, that was so 2005.
Jesus. Number 9. After press reports in March 2017 suggested Trump was under FBI investigation, the president was beside himself, according to notes from the White House Consular's office. Of course! Of course! Imagine being under investigation by the FBI. Just a mere mention of, oh, I'm gonna report you to the FBI is kind of like, okay, one, it's ridiculous if it's happening to an internet folk, but the actual act of being under an FBI investigation is kind of daunting, because they're looking at your entire existence, right? And they're looking to prove you a criminal. And I'm pretty sure 99 out of 100 times people have done something criminal in their life, and it could be horrible, it could be ultimately horrible, or it could just be like the simplest thing. Isn't there a study that shows that, you know, in a person's lifetime they'll commit so and so amount of crimes or something?
No, but I do know that police officers are trained. Like, if you really want to pull someone over, you only have to follow them for, on average, 5 minutes before you have a legal right to, because they've committed a crime of some sort.
I'm looking this up. Especially a billionaire of that caliber, someone who's, you know...
Who definitely doesn't pay his taxes? Yes.
This is a separate issue. Yeah, there's an entire article right here called "How Many Felonies Did You Commit Today?" An interview with Harvey Silverglate. Oh, no, go away, pop-up. I don't want to talk to you. He is the author of 3 Felonies a Day, the title which refers to the number of crimes he estimates that Americans perpetrate each day because of vague and overly burdensome laws. Point made.
That shows those laws should be repealed.
But my point here is, if you look hard enough into anyone's life, you can actually come up with at least, quote, according to this guy, 3 felonies a day. Now, I haven't read it, so I don't know. He could be manipulating me, guys. But, I mean, it's an interesting tidbit of information that should be taken into account. I mean, would you, any of you here present or in the chat, would you be okay? Would you be, you know, completely fine if someone were to open up an FBI investigation on you, even if it were unmerited that you felt?
No, because I haven't committed a crime.
Okay.
No, because I might actually commit a crime and don't want it to be known about.
But this chalks up to Lavrent Liberia's quote, "Show me the man and I'll find you the crime."
Yes. You have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide. Harry Potter.
Everyone-
I would say yes, but I would be extremely uncomfortable with it.
Well, yeah, because they are looking into your entire
Yeah.
life, looking for something to be wrong. Do you know
Yeah.
how hard it is to go through your life under the impetus that I did something wrong? They're gonna find, like, anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't even have to be something legally bad, technically, right? I mean, what if someone
it's an-
else commits a crime while it is that you are living your life, or while they're investigating you?
Yeah,
an
it, like the
open-air
effort
version.
into it.
It's an open-air version of the Panopticon. You know, the concept of the prison where you cannot see the guards, but they can always watch you at any time from that
Mhm.
center column. And they ruled, as effective as that prison design was, they did away with it because it was cruel and inhumane, because it caused mental health issues among the prisoners.
Mm-hmm. So my
I
point
have a
is,
mental health issue.
no one relishes in the idea of constantly being watched, investigated, and, you know, put on trial in a sense. Even if you're not guilty of anything that you think that you could go to prison for, it's not something that the average American citizen would be okay with.
You don't know me. You don't know my life.
You just said. Okay, we have 15 more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
Moving on.
Moving on. Actually, you know, we could go maybe 10 more minutes past time because it took me forever to actually get the stream up because technology hates me. But it's fine. Number 11, summarizing its investigation into whether Trump campaign colluded with Russia, the special counsel writes, in sum, the investigation establishes multiple links between Trump campaign officials and individuals tied to Russian government. Those links included Russian officers of assistance to the campaign. In some instances, the campaign was receptive to the offer, while in other instances, the campaign officials shied away. Ultimately, the investigation did not establish that the campaign coordinated or conspired with Russian government in its election interference activities. So, the point here being there was no collusion, right? Is that what I'm hearing here?
And again, collusion. There's no such crime identified as collusion.
At the time of Comey's firing, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told a reporter that FBI agents had told administrators they were unhappy with Comey's leadership. She later told investigators that that wasn't true. Okay, we already read about this in the last article. In spring 2016, George Ooh, this is gonna be fun.
Papadopoulos.
Papadopoulos!
Papadopoulos. Yeah.
Papadopoulos.
Yeah, they
Something
caught him in a perjury trap, just like they did General Flynn.
Mm-hmm. He informed fellow Trump campaign member, including Trump campaign members, including Miller Manafort, Corey Lewandowski, and Sam Clovis, about the possibility of arranging a meeting in Moscow. The special counsel writes all of this wording. You can look into it yourself if you would like to read. The report will be linked in the description after the stream goes dead. 14. While Mueller's team did not... Yes, we get it. Mueller's team did not establish that Trump directed his former attorney Michael Cohen to lie to Congress. The report details frequent communication between Cohen and Trump's legal team in February of 2018 after Cohen released a statement. The news organization saying he used his own funds to pay $130,000 to the adult film star Stormy Daniels and was never reimbursed by the president. Trump's personal lawyer texted Cohen saying, "Client says thanks for what you do." And in August of 2017, while Cohen was drafting his testimony to Congress about the Trump Tower Moscow deal, he spoke with Trump's personal lawyers almost daily. Oh,
you mean Michael? I repeatedly perjured myself in front of Congress. Cohen? That Cohen?
That Cohen.
Yes, that one.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Okay, next article.
Faithless brought up a very good point. You know, we're discussing all this, and it's all about how there was obstruction of justice. That wasn't even the point of the investigation.
It just became a point after the fact.
Yeah, it was supposed to be about effectively Russian espionage, and suddenly it became about tax evasion, became about porn stars, became about real estate deals, became about taxes.
Well, yeah, because they literally said anything that comes out of this, please let it continue investigating.
Yeah, because this is in the military. This is what the Army calls mission creep.
Okay.
It's always bad. But in this case, it served the DNC's purposes as well as the media's.
I really love looking at some of these sources. The fact that they cite Twitter is amazing.
So there was one last article that
where's
I really
where's the Wikipedia statement?
Okay, guys. The last article that I really wanted to talk about with regards to this. I mean, we had a few other articles, but We are not going to get to them, unfortunately. But they will be linked in the description if you'd like to take a gander at them. But this one is by Chris Saliza, if you're familiar with Chris Saliza. He tweeted out this article. It was at 9 a.m. today. My latest takeaways from Mueller's report day as I read through the report itself. 9 a.m. 3 takeaways on the Mueller report day.
Oh, quick aside. Balik and Robin fell out of the live stream.
Oh my gosh, why is that the case? Come back. What the frick, guys?
We're dumbasses.
That's okay. I forgive you. Not
I
everyone
almost
can
moved
be-
you out so you could move us back in.
You can't boot me out of my own of my own live stream chat.
Yeah, I can. Move to call in.
Oh shit, you can.
But I can't move Balik in.
Oh, that's because I'm the only one with enough power to move people. Anyway, so Chris the Lizard, or Chris Saliza, this is important. So he says, okay, so if you guys had been not here while we were talking about this is what he tweeted out today. My latest takeaways from Mueller report day as I read through the report itself, and it has, this was posted at 9 in the morning on April 18th, 2019. So.
That's today.
That's today, but that's 9 in the morning?
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, well, 9 p.m. hasn't happened yet.
No,
Duh.
but the point I'm trying to get to here is this was a whole 2 hours before the the report itself was available to the public.
What did he say?
The title of this is actually 3 takeaways on Mueller report day, but if you click the link to the article,
Which one is this?
This is the very last one.
Okay.
The Chris Saliza one.
I'll go get it 1 second.
It was updated today at 2:47 p.m. and it's 10 key takeaways from the Mueller report release and what happens next. So as you can see, before he even read the report, he had 3 takeaways. After the fact, he had 10. Ay!
So he made takeaways before he even read it.
The point with Chris Saliza is a particular favorite of, I believe, the Lords of the Night. They have fun with him. I hope they don't mind me borrowing this laughing stock. 10 key takeaways from the Mueller report release and what happens next. I don't know what is going to happen next. Barr did a lot of heavy lifting for Trump. Actually, you know what? I want to see what his points were before the actual report came out. Hang on. Way back machine. We're gonna see if this is actually the way. And hopefully we don't get any more Brie Larson things. Okay.
No more Captain Marvel. Whoa.
Oh, no.
Somebody's got tone for their Sidewinder.
Is that a fire alarm?
Yeah, that's the fire alarm.
Are you gonna die?
No,
It was
but
Big Red, wasn't it?
we're supposed to leave the house.
It's not loud in my room.
It's not that loud here.
Alright, bye, Weebo.
Who set it off?
I think it was the person who's cooking tonight.
Is she cooking now?
I think she's cooking now. I can hear her. That's just great.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Yeah, can you guys carry the show, please? I don't have any guarantee there.
Do you want me to read the points?
I'm gonna go check to see what happened. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'll read the points.
Rate the points before I make a Jew joke, please.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Second point. Obstruction is going to be the debate in the report. Trump is going to be Trump. Fourth point. No collusion. Explained. So the first 5 points are nonsense.
It's filler. Again, I need to reiterate for everyone's benefit is that there is no such crime called collusion.
Yeah.
If they actually had something, it would be called. They would use the correct term, conspiracy.
Mueller didn't exonerate Trump on obstruction because he couldn't. And then the next one is, so why didn't Mueller charge Trump for obstruction?
Because there was no obstruction ultimately. Yeah, even
Yeah.
everybody's claiming that firing Comey was obstruction of justice, but that didn't affect the investigation whatsoever. If he fired Comey and then declared they could not continue the investigation, then that would have you could charge legitimately a case of obstruction. The case, this investigation has gone on almost since the election day. So they really don't have a leg to stand on if they're trying to claim obstruction.
Yeah.
I see in the little video feed Weebo
We
has
both spinning?
disappeared. She's no, she's in the back. Oh, disregard. No, she's in. Is she running away? Do we need to call the fire department?
I assume when a fire alarm is pulled, they're notified.
Well, they are in a house versus a dorm in the traditional.
Okay, we're back, but for whatever reason, I can't connect to the freaking Discord. So give me a sec. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Why can't I connect? What the frickin'? What the heckin'? Got it. There we go,
Hi,
we're back.
Weeps.
Oh my god, let me tell you, man.
I blame the Clintons for this.
We're not dead. I'm sorry.
Are you distinctly singed? Are you smoldering? Are you smoking?
No, we're fine.
I am smoking hot right now.
Sorry. Okay,
No,
so what
no,
we
no,
tried
the wrong
to do,
context.
what we tried to do, and I didn't realize that this was going to do it, but because you can only hear the Discord through my desktop audio, I didn't realize
We could
that
hear you.
you could hear us, but they couldn't hear
Yeah.
you, and they couldn't hear us because
Dear.
we were connected
Oh.
with my laptop.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
False.
I
The
apologize.
people on the stream couldn't hear.
They couldn't.
This,
We were
this,
just
this
talking
is definitely
to you.
Balek's fault.
Yeah.
This is definitely Balek's fault.
It actually
It
it's
is.
not.
If I didn't Google the Clinton body count, I wouldn't be in this mess.
Exactly. That's what I
Whenever-
was saying.
Whenever it's not Balek's fault, it is Balek's fault.
Oh, I get blamed for everything anyway, so it's okay.
So would
Yeah,
you guys
but-
like to hear what 3 of the 4 points
Trump
Crystalliza had to make?
Very worried about the special counsel.
I'm actually gonna put this in the links thing that I have pulled up. Okay, yeah, we're gonna finish off with this article, not the new one that Crystalliza has put out, the old one that's on the Wayback Machine, because I think that it's more important that we find out what Crystalliza had to say about the report before it was actually out, and 3 of these 4 points does it, because we don't know for the 10 points, but this one we do. Alright, so I'm gonna link you guys this in the Discord. In the stream chat. Wow, that was a hot mess. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Ain't that right, ladies and gentlemen?
Welcome to a Weebo stream. It wouldn't be a Weebo stream without a disaster.
Wouldn't be a Weebo stream without some sort of disaster.
Hey, I like Uncle Yeezy. Don't you all go to college? You're supposed to have a T-shirt wrapped around the fire alarm so it doesn't go off when you're hotboxing the rooms.
You know,
Yes!
we should do that. We should wrap a t-shirt around the fire alarm.
Or just take the fucking battery out.
I'm actually surprised this hasn't happened before today.
Okay, why don't we cover the stuff with,
Duct tape.
Balek, that's an excellent
Better idea?
question.
How about
we need to
not
take some
burning
bowls
anything in
and
the
tape them to
kitchen?
the ceiling.
No, they go off. Weebo has set it off so many times it's unreal. She
Yeah.
set it
Open
off
windows.
making a. She set it off making a grilled cheese, and I have a picture to show the grilled cheese.
I actually posted that picture to Twitter.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
The super fucking burnt one.
Yeah, the super really burnt one.
Well,
well,
there's your
half
answer.
of it was burnt, half of it was uncooked.
Yeah, it was both raw and burnt.
How the fuck?
Well, she left it there and just walked away, and then came and played on her YouTube channel, and then fire alarm goes off.
I'm not gonna lie sometimes.
Yeah, you're actually admitting your guilt in this situation where I didn't actually burn anything. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't say
Clearly.
that I didn't burn anything. I did
God
burn
damn it, Weeb.
something. I'm a dumbass. It's fine.
Yeah, but Balak just had class, so he just left and went to class and got a good laugh out of it.
That was funny.
Because, like,
Okay.
how do you fuck up a grilled cheese? I don't
Right?
know.
Wait, hold on. In Weeb's defense, I had a friend who fucked up making mac and cheese. He apparently was too stupid to realize that you're supposed to drain the noodles, so he just added all the milk, cheese, and butter in without draining the noodles.
Oh.
It's not noodles,
Hey,
it's
Weebo.
macaroni.
What
Yeah.
about my mac and cheese?
Oh, I have a video of Balak making mac and cheese with Kraft slices and some elbow noodles.
Okay, but back to the headline. Barr did
Yeah.
a lot of
Okay,
heavy
yeah.
lifting for Trump. What I would like to point out that clearly implies skullduggery was afoot. Yes. Well, then, if that's the case, then Eric Holder legitimately helped cover up crimes for the Obama administration, and the most prevalent one was Fast and Furious. That got a lot of people killed. And there is a legitimate body count with Fast and Furious.
Yeah. See, I don't know what you're talking about, because
No,
this
you
is
don't
before I
understand.
actually started paying attention to politics.
Well,
You don't
Fast and-
understand. Apply to the left. It only applies to.
Oh, I know about that.
Okay, then what's the problem?
Well, I'm a rebel like that.
Okay,
Okay,
fair enough.
so continuing on. obstruction is going to be the debate in the report. So it's no longer collusion that's the issue that we're talking about. It's the obstruction.
Where are the Russians?
No one cares about the Russians anymore.
Not
Trump is going to Trump.
Putin is sitting in a high-backed chair stroking a very furry white cat, and he's no longer part of this equation? What the heck?
Well, no, if you read the report, they actually do say that Russia did conspire to win the election for Donald Trump. Donald Trump just didn't have a hand in that.
Okay, so every first world government or near world power has attempted to influence elections around the world when it suits their needs.
Yes, I know.
The United States has done it. The European powers have done it. Russia and China have done it. So, by the way, they spent what, $100,000 on Facebook ads, and not even all of them were in favor of Trump.
But
really.
We get mad when it applies to us. Don't you understand? We're immune to stuff.
You guys are missing the freaking point, man. The
I'm
first
verbal like that.
three
Not.
takeaways are the ones that were... Okay, so I think I've concluded the first 3 bold points are the ones that he did before the actual release of said report. And now this one is the first one that he released after he read said report. And then he added, 6 more.
Yes. Well, this is no different from when
The Mueller report is divided into 2 volumes. The first volume is on the investigation into any
Oh my
Moving
gosh,
back.
it's Wolf Blitzer. We love Wolf Blitzer on this channel. Cause
We what?
It's Wolf Blitzer, right? Or is it Blitzer Wolf?
What's
What's this?
Wolf Blitzer. I'm concerned for Boyfriendo's status in your life.
Oh, no. When I say we love him, he is adorable. In the sense that, he looks like a
Old man.
short-haired version of Santa Claus.
Basically,
Okay.
what I'm
That
gathering
makes
from
semen
this,
bearable.
I say
what I'm
again,
gathering
I'm
is
worried for Boyfriendo's status in your life.
I don't want to date Santa Claus.
I'm just
Sure
getting
you
that
do. You get all
Weebo
the goodies.
wants Wolf to blitz her.
Okay, side tangent aside.
Fuck.
Let me wrangle this stream. So these are the rest of the issues that he has with the report, or no, the key points, the 10 takeaways from the report. I just love that this is titled 4 takeaways on Mueller report day, and then this is what? 10 takeaways from the Mueller report release, and what happens next. See, okay. The main point that I want to get across, because I know that you're all going to go home tonight and do your homework and be good little boys and girls and read the full report itself in its entirety, or maybe over the next couple of days make up your own minds about what to conclude from the 448 pages of documentation that have to do with this investigation. I know you're all going to do that, but what I find hilarious is that preemptively all of the news station places thingies with the stuff, they are going through a process of, let's do this immediately. Update the public. This is what our opinions are. Okay, now let's report on the actual news as everything is coming in. Before we even have the news, here's our narrative, all right?
What's
Now.
Fox News have?
Oh, yeah, we should totally check out Fox News. Before we go, we're going to just do...
And the Blaze.
And the
Blaze.
Blaze.
Did we look at any?
Do we have to go to the Blaze?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, InfoWars.
Look, I want to know about water filters, so that might actually be useful.
Actually, I'm starting to run out of colloidal silver, so can we go to...
Okay, so the very first
I'm
thing
on
that we're seeing...
InfoWars.
The very first thing that we're seeing on Fox News and their website, quote, Inner Circle clashes. Mueller report reveals top Trump advisors resisting defying president's requests on probe. To read the full document, Mueller report sparks new DC war over Russia probe. Mueller report, Trump Tower witnesses say without his email there's no collusion question. Mueller report shows probe did not find collusion evidence. Kelly Conway, after Mueller report releases, says press apologies are in order. Nadler vows to subpoena full Mueller report, does not rule out impeachment. Schiff says Barr misled the Mueller report summary. He's not the president's personal lawyer. And this is exactly what it is that we are talking about. And then the rest is just all of this jazz. So that's a summary of what Fox News is purporting. And then the Blaze. Let's talk to the Blaze. How's the Blaze doing? Blaze. It has to do with Notre Dame.
You guys should see the points I just posted in the stream chat.
The stream chat.
Yeah, I pointed out what was number 1 on InfoWars.
I'm going to InfoWars right now.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Which one?
The cult
wholesome,
ritual.
wholesome stream.
But I'm into this shit. I research this shit just for shits and giggles, and sometimes I giggle till I shit. That's not how the occult works. Hate to break.
Hey, what about the second one? He's right now in a lawsuit for saying Sandy Hook is fake, but now he's saying that there was a second shooter. Something's not adding up here.
Oh, okay. So we have the history of controversies, the 4 principles. Democrats tried to obstruct the 2016 election. New York Times released a bizarre Sandy Hook second shooter story, and they're reporting on the New York Times releasing that. And then AJ Bill Barr confirms criminal conspiracy by deep state. So that's what they have to say about this.
Legally saying, if they're talking about something somebody else posted about Sandy Hook, technically it can't come bite them in the ass, but technically it can.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the front page of those 3 news stations.
I find that interesting. They're not talking about it at all, essentially, while the left has gone crazy.
Well, of course they have, because they have nothing else to say.
Is it because the left has been portraying it as this is going to be the end of everything, and then it's not, so now they're like, fuck, what do we do?
Well, yeah, they're probably grasping at straws as we speak right now. Okay, so it's 6:11 right now, my time for everybody else. That's a reference point you can use. And I have to eat dinner at some point, but I don't think it's ready yet.
No, it's not.
It's not ready. So should we just continue having a nice, fun conversation about the investigation? We can keep going, because we had a whole 10 minutes of dead air, and
that's fine.
Whoa, Kimosabe.
Whoa,
okay.
Kimosabe.
I have one thing to bring up. So they keep pulling out like strings. If you like look at the report, they're talking about shit like, oh, Barr recovered up Trump. Okay, but like they don't acknowledge when they do it. Like I recently saw an article on like the Times, and they were like discussing, oh, look at how connected Donald Trump is to the news. And it was like, oh, someone in his campaign is connected to the former owner of Fox News, yada yada yada. But like at the same time, what's her name? The fucking DA or the AG under Obama. What's her name?
Loretta Lynch.
Yeah, Loretta Lynch. Her husband's like the executive producer of ABC News.
Is she now?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Well, no, because why would they want to tell you that, hey, we're just as corrupted as the other people are?
I don't know why they would want to tell us that. Why would they want to tell us that, Balik?
I don't know.
All
I need to borrow your hot glue gun.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I broke my tweezers.
Again?
Yeah, that you use epoxy.
I don't have any.
Duct tape.
Oh my
I don't have any of that either.
How the fuck do you survive without duct tape and super glue?
No, it's duct tape and WD-40. Why do you need 2 things to keep everything still?
No, you also need epoxy.
Different reasons.
Yeah, all you need is WD-40 and duct tape. If it moves and it doesn't need to move, you use the duct tape. If it should move but it doesn't move, you use the WD-40.
No, you need Gorilla Glue, so okay, if somebody drops your fucking favorite beer mug, you can put it back together because Gorilla Glue expands and fills small voids left behind by a friggin'.
I hate Gorilla Glue because it expands.
Really?
Because you don't know how to use it.
Well,
No,
also you're not painting anything that's stuck in place. That's the army way.
Okay, so I'm about to update the stream description with all of the links, so you guys can go check that out. By the way, totally look at the report itself, okay? I cannot stress this enough. Read it for yourself. Don't let other people make up your mind for you. That's how, bad stuff happens, okay?
Bad mojo.
Don't get corrupted by Balik's facts and
That's
context, because context is racist.
Balik is lying to you. He's reading things in context. You're not getting the correct narrative, people.
There's a war for your mind.
Well, I mean, if that's a direct Alex Jones quote, right?
Yes, I believe so.
See, it's precisely true. I mean, Alex Jones says a lot of silly things, but that is precisely true. There is a war for your mind. There is a tug of war, essentially, for the mind of the American people, and what it is that the general public is supposed to believe versus what it is that is the actual truth. People are always going to try to manipulate you, to convince you of a certain thing that is an issue.
And now
That's
a
what
word
they
from
want.
our sponsors.
And
Buy
now a word
Super
from our
Male
sponsors.
Vitality.
Super male vitality.
Oh, that was actually really good.
Actually, hold on. Remember on the subject of Alex Jones, I need to get in contact with him because I want to go to this base in San Francisco to where I do nothing but take psychedelics and talk to aliens.
What?
Interesting.
There's a 5-hour live stream with Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Alex Jones where he talks about bases in San Francisco where all they do is take psychedelics and talk to aliens.
Talk
I
to
love
aliens.
Alex Jones.
He's an interesting
What about the
study.
What about the interdimensional child molesters?
That's a good question.
The full term is interdimensional sidekick vampire pedophile.
Oh, is that? I'm sorry that I didn't use the correct term. Sorry.
What is even happening in the stream anymore?
I don't know, but we detracted significantly from the actual conversation about Robert Mueller's investigation.
We have gone full Alex Jones.
The investigation just says that 1776 will commence again and the frogs are gay.
Oh boy.
Yes!
I heard you from all the way across the house, Balik.
76 will commence!
You guys don't know this about Balik, but he's extremely loud. There are certain Balikisms that happen in this household. One, he'll tell you the same story at least 4 times, and then he'll tell it to someone else while you're in the same room, so you hear it a total of 7 times before you're like, Balik, shut the fuck up. I heard that already.
So basically,
also...
Balik does what a drunk does, but so...
Yeah, kind of.
Balik
I'll
is
also
a
do it
person
while
with
drunk.
Alzheimer's.
So we can't afford to get him drunk.
No, we can't. Not at all. The last time Balik got super heckin' shiz-faced.
I tried fighting the pavement.
That's a funny story. He rearranged his
Did
face
you-
a little bit.
Did you at least win the fight?
I don't remember.
No, he didn't. I can tell you he did not. His face...
My coach had to bring me back to the room. I think I tapped out.
He did. His nose started
You lost a
bleeding.
fight with the pavement?
He did.
Yeah.
Well, his nose started bleeding, his forehead started puffing up, and his nose... Actually, it looked like he'd broken his nose for, like, 3 days afterwards because of the swelling.
And I went to the doctor, and they said that they would have placed money on the fact my nose was broken.
It looked like it was. And I swear to God, we spent about 4 to 5 hours in that night, up until 4 in the morning, trying to make sure that he wasn't either alcohol poisoned or concussed. Because we couldn't tell the difference, because they have very similar overlapping, what's the word I'm looking for? Symptoms?
Symptoms.
Yeah, so they have overlapping symptoms, and I was freaking out. So was our other roommate, because we were both there. And then Balik's friend comes in and 5-stars him on the chest while he's passed out. And then Balik perks up and he's like, "Hi!"
I don't remember this.
Basically, Balik is the cutest boy.
Yes.
Okay.
That's up for debate. I wouldn't say that, but you are free to say that. No. Balik is roommate. Boyfriendo is at home.
No, I know. I'm not saying that.
Okay, just to clarify, Balik and I are.
He's boyfriendo material. Is that what's meant?
I don't know. I think he's more of your like gay
Best
friendo
friend.
material.
Yeah.
I don't know. My girlfriend thinks I'm a pretty good catch, so.
Allegedly.
Agree
Yeah.
to disagree.
She thinks I'm neat.
All I need to do is send her one more video of you making
Pretty
ghetto
jazzy.
mac and cheese, and she's gonna break up with you.
That's not even ghetto mac and cheese. That's just wrong.
Yeah.
No, how else would you make mac and cheese if you don't have macaroni, but you got the noodles and the cheese?
With cheese whiz.
No,
That's-
not
oh,
the
God.
Fucking no. You do it prison style. You take some fucking nacho cheese and boom.
I don't know about that.
I like it. I'm gonna try that next.
If you run out of noodles, just use fucking ramen. Just don't cook them all the way and don't add the
sauce.
season.
Just don't cook them all the way.
Yeah, little undercooked, so it still has a little bit of a
Crunch.
closer to macaroni texture.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy.
my god. I'm gonna make this now and post this on her channel.
Dinner's ready.
I don't
Dinner
care.
is ready.
Dinner is ready. We
Hey,
have
so
to go.
So last question. I need the audience's opinion. Underwater archaeology or law school?
Underwater archaeology, so much.
Underwater archaeology.
Okay.
Come on, off-world exploration. Come on, jeez.
Hey, no, that's my job.
Moon base archaeology.
No. My dream job's to be the door gunner for the Space Force.
No. Okay. Off-world exploration, because if you wildcat an asteroid that's several hundred tons of titanium or iron or just nickel, yeah, you're set. Your descendants are set. Your whole bloodline is set.
Oh. Okay, I absolutely love the stream chat. The stream has deteriorated so much. Thank you, Robin Hood.
You are so welcome.
Alright, so I am going to phase us out. We're going to go to the outro section of this because, quite honestly, we have nothing left to say about the Mueller stuff because none of us have actually read the whole thing in its entirety. So we have literally no basis. But
I can start bullshitting stuff that's in it.
No. We just talked for 2 hours about something that none of us have actually read in its entirety.
So we just act like they work for CNN?
Yes.
Yes. We could totally work for CNN. Okay. But on that note, I would
Hang on. I'm telling you something that's in the Mueller report. At 7:12 on July 12th, 2016, Fairs emailed Papadopoulos at 2:52 and 29 seconds.
All right. And with that, thank you, chat, for coming out and supporting the nonsense that was this stream. Thank you to all of my guests who decided to come on and talk with me about literally nothing for 2 hours. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Hey, I finished my paper.
Oh, that's good.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Golf clap for Robin. On a separate note.
Oh God.
Can you guys hear that?
Needs a block of instruction on what a golf clap is.
Anyway, thank you to everyone who's watching this video now and who will watch it in the future. I will leave it up on the channel because it is a family appropriate stream and we are now family friendly, advertiser friendly.
Really now?
100%.
I was at
Penis!
Sorry for swearing.
Balik?
Fuck.
Balik.
Shit. Yeah.
Stop. And we're going to the outro. Thank you for joining me, and I hope
someone's dick exploded.
I hope you have a good afternoon.